Hey guys, welcome back to the next workshop build video, and welcome to a fun video. Not that any of the videos have not been fun. This one is just going to feel really fun because this really at this point is the icing on this workshop cake we've been building for the past couple of months. In today's video, I'm bringing you along as I do my window trim and my door trim. In preparation of going to the store to purchase my trim, I measured the distance from the window frame inside to the outside of my finished wall. In my case, it was exactly 2.5 inches. Taking that along with some rough measurements for the perimeter times 2, once for the casing, once for the exterior trim, I then had a rough idea of how much I needed to buy and scuttled off to the hardware store to blow my kids' college savings fund. If you don't know, trim is outrageously expensive. About an hour after being in the hardware store, I came across this guy. It is a solid wood trim that has been primered white, surfaced on 4 sides. But the real reason I got this is its price. It was a very economical product, and its dimensions are exactly the width of my window frame's depth. Hopefully that makes sense. This guy will fit perfect. I won't have to do any rip cuts. All I have to do is cut this to length, and that is a huge time saver. I can't remember if it was shown in any of my videos because it's kind of one of the many things that I do, and I don't remember what makes the cut. But after the windows were installed, I used some expanding spray foam to insulate between the window and the actual rough opening framing. First step for me to do today is to trim off the excess of the foam, anything that's going to be in the way for the trim to be installed. Once that is done, I then begin to measure, cut, and install what I'm calling the casing, which may be totally incorrect. If it is, that down there, that's what it's called. But that's the first step of trimming out the windows, is to install this guy. With that stage done, this window is already looking very nice, extremely posh and elegant, especially for a workshop. Let's go ahead and take it to the max and install our finish molding or face trim. I don't know what it's called. Again, down here is what Google tells me it's called. But let's go ahead and install that next. There are a ton of different ways you can install your molding. You can do miter cuts, you can do a combination of a wider seal plate board, a little board underneath it, some nice fancy stuff. I mean, you can really go all out when it comes to trim and molding. However, this guy is going to keep it nice and easy. I'm going to be doing square cuts and regular butt joints, but to make it sound a lot fancier than it is, we will call this craftsman inspired molding. Yeah, there we go. For the window reveal, I want to set this to a 3/8 reveal. So I'm going to use my slide here, my multi-mark, set it right at 3/8 overhang, tighten down this brass set screw, and now I can use this all around my windows to mark my reveal. I know it's set dead right. It's not going to wiggle around on me, and this is much easier to use than a tape measure. The first piece I'm cutting for my window trim is going to be the bottom because it's going to rest on the inside of my left and right uprights. So I'm measuring from the pencil marks that I scribed for that 3/8 reveal. I'm burning 2 inches here so I can get precise measurements. Reading over here, it measures 37 1/4. Take away the 2 inches here. I need to cut this piece to 35 1/4 inch. With my piece cut, I'm now holding it up into place, making sure I'm in line with my corners that I've scribed with the pencil here, right where it needs to be. Hold it in place, and using my finish nailer, I'm going to tack it into place with the nails. To measure my right and left side, I take my tape measure, I'm running it all the way down, I'm hooking it on the bottom of the bottom trim we've already installed. And now I'm measuring to my pencil line, and this one reads right at 49 1/2. I cut it exactly at 49 1/2. My piece has been cut, so I'm going to hold it in place down there next to my bottom trim, but really pay attention up here to line it up right with my pencil marks, and then I'm going to nail it into place. And now I'm going to repeat the same thing with the left side vertical trim piece, lining it up with my pencil marks here and attaching it with my finish nailer. There we go. One more piece to do, guys. For my last piece, I could measure it, or I'm just going to hold up my scrap piece here, flush it up here on this edge, and then use my pencil, mark on this outside edge, and that gives me the exact width I need to cut. I'll chop it on the chop saw, and then we'll nail it in place. And there we have it. This window is trimmed out. Now given I haven't caulked it and painted it yet, that will be literally the last step we do, but that is the overall steps towards trimming out a window. This is also one of the easier ways of doing cuts that I have found. You're only dealing with square cuts, no miters, no fancy things, and I think it looks pretty good, especially with the square edge trim that I purchased. It definitely gives it a blocky feeling, and I think having the blockier, more simple trim really leads to those square cuts not looking like you just cheaped out, which is good because this was not cheap. In total, this window is 3 feet wide, 4 feet tall, but used 8 8-foot pieces of trim at about $9 a piece. Yeah, ouch. Told you guys, trim's expensive. So I'm going to change gears away from the window. Since you have seen one, you will have seen them all. I just have to repeat those steps 2 more times. And let's go ahead and tackle the door. Door trim is so much easier than window trim. So you can already take a breath and relax. This one is going to be easy. Depending upon your wall covering in your workshop or your building, wherever you're doing this job at, you may have to get creative with your door trim install. I am going to have to get creative. The frame of my pre-hung door sticks into the room further than my finished wall covering. So my options are shim some part of this wall forward so that the trim matches, or just install the trim so it butts right up to the frame, letting the frame become a little reveal in addition to the trim and trying to make it feel cohesive overall. You probably already know which way I'm going. I'm going to go with the easier one, attach my trim to the wall, butting it up next to my door casing, and just make this all a part of the plan. That's what I was going to do from day one. Yeah. For my door trim, this is going to be really easy. I've just measured the height for the right side from the floor to the top of my door casing. I'll check it on the left side here in a second. I'll cut them both to length, attach them, making sure they are flush with the top of that casing. Then I'll measure my width, cut my top piece, and that'll be it. So cuts and everything, this took maybe 5 or 6 minutes to trim out. See, told you it was going to be easy. And it looks fine. It is not as clean and polished as a luxury home might be, but this is not a luxury home. This is just a Samcraft home. However, it sure is looking nice. Well guys, at this point that covers the windows and door. Like I said, the only thing left to do is to finish out my other 2 windows and then do a little bit of caulk and paint around here. But honestly, that's not going to be too fantastic on video. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I appreciate you guys watching as always. If you've only checked out this one video and you're curious to see this entire space built literally from the ground up, there's a link to that full playlist down below. If you got any questions or comments, leave them for me as well. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you guys next time in the workshop.